Right, welcome to MAC2601 class. Right, before I proceed, I realize that your final test will be on the 8th, is that right?
Let me double check.
I think it's on the 8th of May.
Let me see. Yes, it's 8 May.
Yes, now, because of that, you can see that there's no time. I think it's about 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So because of that, I've decided that instead of just going with the topic,
Okay.
I'd rather explain the concepts through questions. That's why you saw me taking out the paper so that we'll just do them as we go. Right, and because of that, again, I have to increase the number of classes that you have to do. So I will post on the group, but you are going to have another class on Saturday from 8 to 10. Then we'll have another one on Sunday from 7:30 in the evening to 8:30. Those are the 3 classes that we have this weekend. Then we'll meet Wednesday. Then the other weekend also I'll organize classes so that at least we can do as much as possible. But I will also post on the group about the times. Right. Okay. So now let's look at the paper that I sent to you. So I want to look at all of it, except the smaller multiple choice questions. All right. So we're going to start from question 1. Now we have got fitness fanatics. Okay, I think it's still loading. I want you to be, so please, you should have this paper until we are done with it. Then I will give you another one when we go to the next class. When we are done with this one. So I think it's delaying to load. And have you done the group task?
Sorry?
Have you done your group task, which is due, I think, is it tomorrow also?
Yeah, I'm presenting this afternoon at 6. So
today at 6.
Yeah.
So if you are alone, so we should make sure that we cut around 10 to also.
Yeah, I'll appreciate that. Thanks.
Okay, if you're alone, then I will cut it around 10 to, but if you are not alone, maybe around 10 to, you then go out. I think someone has already joined, so you just go out around 10 to. I understand that. Right. We have got fitness fanatics was established in 2011 by Ms. Tembi Mutamai and is based in Krugersdorp. The company is a processor and distributor of a popular type of protein energy bar called pumpkin seed. The company is a 30 June year end. Right. Now our question is, calculate a, why is it I see it different with the paper that I'm opening there? Right. Calculate the over or under recovered fixed manufacturing overhead for the year ended 30 June, assuming that the company uses an absorption costing system. Right. So the approach that I will take is to explain the concepts as we go. Right. To our colleague who just came in, we are dealing with this paper that I sent to you. Because of the forthcoming test, I've decided that instead of just going with the topics, we'll just go with the papers until you write. Then I will be explaining all the important concepts. I will not just be answering. Right. Right, A, over or under absorption. So please, the explanations that I will be explaining here, they are not necessary when you are answering in the exam. These are just for you to understand what is happening. Right. When they say over or under absorption, this is the difference. You don't have to write this when you're in an exam, in your test or exam. This is just for me to explain to you so that you can understand what you are being asked and how to answer that. So this is the difference between absorbed or allocated fixed manufacturing overheads. And the actual fixed manufacturing overheads. Right. Remember that fixed manufacturing overheads are allocated to the units produced based on a predetermined budgeted overhead absorption rate. Now, because we use a budgeted overhead absorption rate, it can happen that our actual overhead can be different from budget. I think we know that in reality, what you expect does not necessarily happen. It can happen that we budgeted for this, and then after the actual production, we find that our costs are more or less than our budgeted. Right, over absorption occurs when absorbed overheads are more than the actual fixed manufacturing overheads. Then under absorption occurs when absorbed overheads are less than the actual fixed manufacturing overheads. So from this information, that means for us to get our own over or under absorption, we need two things. We need the absorbed overheads and we need the actual fixed manufacturing overheads. Right, for you to calculate the absorbed overheads, you first have to find out how are they absorbing the overheads. Right, so we're told that budgeted data for the year ended 30 June are as follows. Some of the company's costs in total for the 2020 financial year were as follows. So these are the fixed manufacturing overheads, the budgeted, and these were the actual. Right. The senior management accountant provided you the following information with regard to the actual figures for the year ended 30 June 2022. We have the selling price, direct material cost, and direct labor. Then the inventories, we have actual inventory 1 July, that is the opening. Then the inventory closing, we don't know. All right, quantity schedule, we have the sales, the opening inventory, and the closing inventory were given. Then we're told that no inventory of direct materials or work in progress is held. The company used the first in, first out method of inventory valuation. All completed protein energy bars are packaged and taken into inventory. Assume that the opening and closing budgeted inventories in units are equivalent to the respective opening and closing actual inventories in units per the above quantity schedule. The actual inventory cost on 1 July 2019 also includes absorbed fixed manufacturing overheads. Right, now this is our important thing. The fixed manufacturing overheads are absorbed based on normal capacity of 503,200 direct labor hours. So you have to check what are they using to allocate the overheads. So they are using direct labor hours. The fixed manufacturing overheads are allocated to production based on direct labor hours. So they will be absorbed based on direct labor hours. And the actual direct labor hours were 483. Right, to answer this question, step 1, determine the overhead absorption rate. If not given, but for some questions, they can give you that the overhead absorption rate was 50 Rand per hour. Right, to calculate your overhead absorption rate, you use the budgeted figures. So you use budgeted figures. You don't use actuals unless told to use actuals, not actual. Right, to calculate it, we say total budgeted fixed manufacturing overheads divided by the total budgeted cost driver volume. Right. In this case, direct labor hours. So I said in this case, direct labor hours because that's what we are told. But please note that it's not always direct labor hours. That's why I said it's over the cost driver volume. They can use machine hours. They can use the number of units. So you have to check what is it that they are using in that particular question. They will always inform you. You don't have to think about it. Right. So here, our total budgeted overheads, we have them here. We got them on number fixed manufacturing overheads here. So when we're looking at under over absorption, we're only concentrating on the fixed manufacturing overheads. They are 22,644,000. So you don't use the actual and use the budgeted hours, 22,644,000 divided by the budgeted normal capacity, which is 503,200. So we're going to say our total budgeted overheads, which are 22,644,000 divided by the total budgeted direct labor hours, which are 503,200. What do you get?
$45.
So that's 45 per direct labor hour. Is that right? So now we can use that now. Our step 2. We then calculate the absorbed or allocated overheads. Right. So that will be the overhead absorption rate times actual cost driver volume. In this case, actual direct labor hours. Right. Right. Our overhead absorption rate, you know that it's 45 per direct labor hour. Right. Then we know that the actual direct labor hours are 483 here. The actual direct labor hours are 483. So we'll now say the 45 times 483. What do you get? I'm waiting for you guys.
Two 1,735,000.
2,1,735,000 like this. Right.
Yes.
Then the last step, you determine if there's an under or over. Compare absorbed overheads. Overheads to actual overheads. Right. So then here we'll get absorbed overheads, which are 2,1,735,000. Right. Less actual overheads. Right. Our actual overheads, we are told that the actual fixed overheads were 24 million. So they have 24 million. Actually, maybe I should put it the other way around, where I can say actual, so that the calculation can make sense. Less the absorbed. Is it that? No, no, no. I think I should leave it like that. Right, so that's 24 million. Right, because we absorbed less, there's an under absorption. We absorbed 21,735,000, whereas the actual was 24 million. So there's an under absorption. Our under absorption is the difference. There will be an over absorption if we absorb more. So there's an under absorption in this case. Any questions?
No.
No questions. Right, so go to the next one. Prepare the actual statement of profit or loss for the year ended 30 June for the company using absorption costing principles. Did you present the Timpo?
No, I have to present at 6.
Day at
We're
6.
starting at 6. Yes. So,
Okay, so I'll
may
cut,
you please
so I'll
excuse
cut
me
the
at
session
quarter
around 10 to 6. Is that right?
Okay.
Right. I've also, because of the forthcoming test, I think you were not in the class. I've said that we are going to have another class on Saturday from 8 to 10 in the morning.
Saturday,
Yes.
8 until 10.
Yes.
Maybe I'll
What?
join in the middle because I have to be
Hello?
somewhere we have a function. I'm
I
saying
can't
we
hear
have
you.
a function. I'm saying we have a function, so I will join in the middle.
I know you get the recording.
Okay.
Then we'll
Thank
have
you.
another one on Sunday in the evening.
Or at that one, I will be available.
That one is half 7 to half 8.
Okay.
I'll post on the group because your
Okay.
test is just nearby. So I just want to push so that, and we'll have a midweek, then we'll have the weekends. But most probably our last weekend will be the next one, isn't it?
All right.
Wish you all the best in your presentation. All right, we start with the sales. Sales is the number of units sold times the selling price per unit. Right. You should know that, are you preparing the actual or the budget? You are preparing the actual. Right. The selling price, if you can check, it was here 39 rand, and they sold, the sales were 1.4 units, so it will be 1.4 times 39. It's 1.4 times 39. What do we get? What are you getting? Please, I'm waiting for you.
Sorry. 50. They're calling me Jacob Zuma. 54 million.
I can't hear you.
54 million. 600,000.
Right. Less cost of sales. We have our opening inventory. Our opening inventory is given. Yeah. 3 million. Right. Add production cost. Right. Your production cost, we take our, we start from our direct material. It was 970. Production cost, we don't multiply by the sales, we multiply by the what? Production. So it will be 970 times the production. Right. We're not given the production, but we know the sales, opening inventory, and the closing inventory. So we can calculate what? The production. Right. We know that production is equal to units sold plus closing inventory minus opening inventory. So we can say 1.4, that's our units sold, plus your closing inventory 80,000 minus your opening inventory 100,000. What do we get?
One million 380,000.
1,380,000.
Yes.
Right. So we know that our raw material was 30 we're told that the direct material was 970. So they have our direct material $970 times 1,308,000. What do we get?
I'm 13,386,000.
13,386,000. Then we have the direct labor. Right, our direct labor, we're told that our direct labor rate is 24 per hour. And the number of hours, we know them. We're told, I think at the end, the actual hours were 483. So say 483,000 times 24. What do you get?
$11,592,000.
Then we have we don't have variable manufacturing overheads in this question. So we have the fixed manufacturing overheads. At the fixed manufacturing overheads, we take the absorbed, which we calculated here. So that will be the 21,735. All right. Then our production costs will be the total of these costs. Right. Less closing inventory. Right. Our closing inventory depends on whether they are using FIFO or they are using weighted average method. Now here we're told that they are using, let's check, what did they say here? They use the first in, first out. So if they are using first in, first out to get your closing inventory, you are going to say total production cost multiplied by closing inventory units. Divided by the total units produced. This is our formula if we're using FIFO to get our closing inventory. Right. Alternatively, you can just take this and find the cost per unit, then you multiply by the number of units. Our total production cost is this 46,713. So say 46,713,000 multiplied by the closing inventory, which were given on the question paper. Remember, we used it here, the 80,000. Then we divide by the units produced, which we calculated here, 1,380,000. What do we get?
$2,708,000.
So that would be 2,780,000. Right. Then we get our cost of sales, which will be the opening inventory plus production cost minus your closing inventory. Opening inventory plus production cost minus your closing inventory. Right. We get what we call the unadjusted gross profit. Which will be equal to the sales minus the cost of sales. Right. Then you add, if there is an over absorption, you add. If there is an under absorption, you subtract. Under absorption, you subtract. Over absorption, you add. Under absorption, you subtract. Over absorption, you add. So we'll subtract this under absorption because there was an under absorption which we calculated on A. Then we get our gross profit. So this is equal to this minus that. Right. Then we'll subtract our expenses. Expenses, we mean all other non-production costs. All other non-production costs. If you can check here, we have fixed administrative salaries, 777,000. Fixed administrative salaries, 777,000. Then we have selling and distribution costs, 2 million. Selling and distribution costs, 2 million. Right. Those were the nine. So under the expenses, we include all costs that have nothing to do with production. Right. So then at the end of the day, we find our sorry, before I do that, we have to add them up, these ones. Right. Then we get our gross profit, net profit, sorry. Which will be your gross profit minus your expenses. All right. So that's it. That's how we prepare our absorption costing profit statement. Any questions? I know you don't have any questions because you are rushing. So I will not waste it. We can't start another question. So what we'll do is we'll postpone the class. So the class will be on Saturday 8 to 10 and on Sunday in the evening. The Saturday one is in the morning, then on Sunday in the evening, half 7 to half 8. So I will post on the group. Those who will not be available, I will be able to do a recording. Thank you so much, and God bless you richly, and wish you all the best.
Thank you, Eugene. Bye.